Welcome back to Ravenous Babble. My name is Dan, and today I am joined by our first ever guest, my buddy Nick. Say hi, Nick.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Today we're going to be babbling on about the new Ninja spoiler card coming in Outsiders, Dishonor.
Dishonor! Dishonor on your whole family! Make a note of this. Dishonor on you! Dishonor on your cow!
Nick and I are going to be going through every legal hero in the classic constructed format. We're going to discuss how they would fare in a game after getting hit by Dishonor, and we'll be utilizing this tier list while doing so. So first up, I guess we should talk about the card, huh?
Absolutely.
So Dishonor. Dishonor is a blue card that costs 0 to play. It attacks for 2, blocks for 3, has combo. If Bonds of Ancestry was the last attack this combat chain, this has +2 attack. And when this hits a hero, if you control Surging Strike, Descendant Gust Wave, and Bonds of Ancestry, that hero loses all abilities for the rest of the game.
Which is a completely wild statement so far, but it's still pretty amazing to see basic Ninja get some support.
Oh, absolutely.
The much needed support that it's been needing.
And you've seen in the Discord today, we've just been talking about all the possibilities for, where should we block? How much should we block if we're just blocking on Dishonor, just to be sure?
Yeah, one of the things I realized while you're talking about it doesn't require them to come up in any specific order. The only one you need to have before is Bonds of Ancestry to have the +2. That's it. All the other ones can be in any order.
That's true.
But we have to see what Descendant does first before we can really say.
And I've got a hunch that it's going to be very similar to Bonds of Ancestry, where you just need to be attacking with it, and you don't need to hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might be going toward just the finisher needs to hit to get the effect kind of design.
Yeah, because in the text where you'll see where it says if you control, it doesn't say if these have hit, it just says if you control. So they just have to be all on the same combat chain, which is incredible, honestly.
Yeah, definitely a step up for Katsu, finally.
Can we talk about this art? It is.
It might be the best art in the set. I don't know. I mean, can anything beat that?
Just Katsu skewered.
So is this canon? Are we losing Katsu?
I mean, I hope not. I hope not.
All right, well, I guess let's jump right into it. Let's start off with Arachne. So Arachne is an assassin hero. Says whenever you play a card with contract, you may look at the top card of target opponent's deck. You may put that card on the bottom. So how do we feel Arachne fares against Dishonor?
It all depends on what card he's actually attacking with, whether it's going to really be an issue or not, because of the contracts that are on the cards. But otherwise, it's not too big of a hit for him, regardless, I don't feel like.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like he's in the meh category, to be honest. Like, yeah, it'd be nice if he could get his ability, but it's not going to be backbreaking.
Yeah, because he'll still, like, if he gets to banish a card, he gets to banish a card, which is still hurtful to anybody. It's just that he doesn't get to filter through to find what he wants for the silvers, but other than that, it's not really too big of a deal.
Right, he could still incidentally just work.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, meh is definitely where I see him landing.
That sounds about right.
Alright, so moving on to Azalea. She's a ranger hero, and once per turn action, cost 0. Put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. If you do, put the top card of your deck face up into your arsenal. If it's an error card, it gains Dominate until end of turn. Go again. God, this would crush her, honestly. It's the biggest function of her deck. She's one of the ones who definitely rely on their ability more than others.
Yeah, she's always often to make sure she has the right arrow. She really wants that Dominate so she can get all of her crazy on hits.
Yeah, especially if she can't actively make sure that there is a red ledger on the top and give that Dominate, she's not holding off the other person enough to really do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But she could still throw arrows.
Absolutely.
Maybe just in shambles for her.
Yeah, and Shambles makes sense, because she can still be a ranger. It's just that the Dominate won't be there. And we'll kind of get to Bravo on that with a Dominate effect later on, too.
Alright. Let's talk about Sir Boltyn.
Sir Boltyn.
Sir Boltyn, Breaker of Dawn. All right, so Sir Boltyn is a light warrior. He's got quite a lengthy hero ability here. So if you've charged this turn, attacks you control have +1 power while defended by an attack action card. An attack reaction, banish a card from Sir Boltyn's soul. Target attack with power greater than its base power gains go again. I mean, this just shuts off this whole combo, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm just now realizing that he got knighted and now he's Sir Boltyn in his adult card. I promise I've been playing this game for over a year now.
Story progression.
You can see it in his artwork, and I never even realized it. Yeah, his combo is completely shut down. He's still a warrior, and he can still do a bunch of things, but he's not gonna pull off the combos that he really wants to pull.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, unlike Dory, he does run attack actions, like quite a few, so he could still function, just not nearly as good as he would have with the combo.
Yeah, especially if they're not getting that buff from him. If they're getting blocked by attack actions, his power immediately just ramps down. I think like 2 to 3 per turn damage is just gone.
Yeah, it's also a lot easier to block him. I don't know about you, but I hate blocking against Boltyn.
It's the worst. I mean, with the dash deck that I run, it's not an issue because there are a lot of non-attack actions. So when he's throwing a 3 and then all of a sudden it's a 4, it's not back-breaking for me.
True. So, in shambles, I guess, because of his attack actions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or do we think,
yeah,
guess I'll just die?
I mean, honestly, I'd put him up and guess I'll just die because of the attack reaction, because there are a lot of his light warrior cards that don't have go again. They don't have that innate go again that'll enable him to really push forward. And his attack reaction really needs to be there for him to progress every turn.
He's also very dependent on the combo, so like if this goes off mid-game and you're still working toward combo, you're probably dying because you're hoping to get that life gain at some point. So if you get dishonored, you're just... how are you going to come back from that?
Yeah, Boltyn's definitely a second cycle deck in a lot of cases right now. That's what we're really going to see with Boltyn decks right now. They're not really going for that first cycle, go just for it immediately. So yeah, definitely guess I'll just die.
Unfortunate. Sorry, Boltyn.
All right, so for Mr. Bravo, Showstopper. Guardian Hero, action, cost 2. Until end of turn, your attack action cards with cost 3 or greater gain dominate, go again. So for him, it's not the biggest deal. Based on what I see in our local meta, it's not the most frequently used. It's just kind of there as I have the extra resources, I'm going to add it on, but other than that, it's not really like the biggest deal.
It's definitely good for closing out games, but most of the time it feels more like a win more effect, I think. Like you're just like, yeah, I'm going to get this through. You're going to take some damage this turn.
Yeah, here's this Crippling Crush. You're going to take it. Sorry.
But regardless, if you're facing a Crippling Crush, you're already, on the back foot a little bit. So, yeah. He's probably shaking in his boots, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit, because he won't get to just very clearly go, I'm winning with this attack anymore, but he still pressures enough that it's not the biggest deal for him at all.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about Briar, Warden of Thorns.
Yes, let's talk about Miss should have been LL 2 years ago.
Yeah, so we're talking about current classic constructed heroes. Depending on when you're watching this, she's only about 40 points away, so this might be completely irrelevant. But but she's still here, so we're going to talk about her. All right, so Briar is an elemental runeblade hero with Essence of Earth and Lightning. Whenever an attack action card you control deals damage to an opposing hero, create an Embodiment of Earth token. And whenever you play your second non-attack action card each turn, create an Embodiment of Lightning token. And also realize I just kind of read that wrong because I'm not reading the ratted version.
Yep, I was just like, as soon as you read it, because I'm looking at the same one you are, I was like, nope, that's not the errata.
So it's whenever the first attack action card you control deals damage, right?
Yeah, the first time an attack action card you control deals damage to an opposing hero each turn. Create an Embodiment of Earth.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, that Embodiment of Earth is one thing too. I mean, there's a good chance that Dishonor's not even going to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if they hit last turn, it's not an issue because one card can block it.
Right.
even if it has the +2, it's not that big of a deal for Briar.
And losing the first ability is not really that big of a deal, I guess. How does this read? So Essence of Earth and Lightning is cards in your deck, so that's not going to matter. That would be a little funny if it was actually you can play those cards, and half of her deck was just dead.
Yeah, luckily that's not ability, that's just subtext. Which
Yeah,
is
exactly. So the embodiment of lightning is very relevant, though, with Briar.
Completely. She does not get to go as wide as she normally does. Those channel mount turns that where she's throwing channel mount, throwing a non-attack, throwing an attack with go again, like that's immediately just shut down. She gets to throw maybe 2 attacks a turn, maybe.
If she's lucky, she might have her Snapdragon Scaler still for a snatch or something.
Yeah, and at the point in the game where Dishonor's probably going off, it's probably mid-game. That's probably where he should be throwing it, to just pull tempo out from under the rug and just take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Briar can still go tall, though. She can still dish it out with the channel mount heroic.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, for Briar, she would just go as tall as possible every single time on every turn.
Yeah. Stack on
so
the
it's not going to kill her. Yes, it's going to be like channel mount, 2 nimblisms, big attack, and pass turn.
Yep. And if you're trying to hold cards for a combo,
just imagine a 11 power snatch coming at you. It's just, oh, okay, cool. I didn't want to attack at all.
Right. All right, so I mean, it might be a meh, but I think it's more in shambles because you still kind of got to work for it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you have to have things line up, because if you have 4 attack actions in your hand, you're literally just throwing an attack and passing. That's the extent of what Briar's going to do that turn.
All right. Let's move on to this one. Nick, you want to take it?
Absolutely. Nothing was funnier to me than seeing this card today and just knowing that me as a humble Dash player get to just not worry about it. I don't care.
Burn my tongue. Don't even care.
There is no issues with this card. I will take the full hit. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you can just move her right on up.
We don't even care.
Because Dash's ability is you may start the game with a Mechanologist item with cost 2 or less in the arena. So Dash, she doesn't care. It's not going to affect her at any point during the game. If she's that far ahead in life as well, she can just eat it. Doesn't matter. She is the only hero who is safe currently from that ability, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's even if you get, I guess at that point, you know that's the case. You're probably just blocking with Dishonors. You're just trying to play the normal Dash matchup.
And who knows what the normal Dash matchup is? There's 4 different versions of it.
You never know what to expect.
You're going into it going, I won't know what it is until they flip over the item. Even then, you have to look at equipment too, because that's just how Dash is. She's so versatile. Why, she's my favorite hero right now.
It's the worst. All right, let's talk about another hero that actually cares about this.
Where it actually matters.
All right, so Dorinthia Iron Song. Once per turn effect, when your weapon attack hits, you may attack an additional time with that weapon this turn. Not anymore.
Not up in here! Not up in here! Oh.
Not anymore. This just shuts her down completely.
Yeah, if
overall.
you're playing Dawnblade, that's it, right?
Yep, that is completely it. So maybe they'll have to sideboard like other weapons. Like they might have to go to the 2-weapon sideboard for the Katsu matchup just in case they get hit with this. That'll probably have to be an option for them, because if they run Dawnblade into it and they get hit with Dishonor, you'll never see a counter on that sword ever. Yeah. So unless you're able to get a glint off and get what's the one that lets them attack twice?
Twinning Blade?
Yes. So they have to have glint or any form of go again and Twinning Blade just to even get that second attack off to hopefully get a counter. But then the counter's not going to stay around unless you continuously have Twinning Blades.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess in general, she's probably fine to stick with the Dawnblade plan unless Katsu starts becoming an actual relevant meta threat. In which case, yeah, that might be the best play for Dorinthia players. Just switch to a different weapon plan.
Yeah, and honestly, just talking about it now, I realized, oh, well, a 2-weapon plan doesn't actually shut her down, like that makes it perfectly fine. Like she doesn't get to go first weapon, second weapon, back to first weapon anymore, but she still gets to swing twice, and she has enough attack reactions and stuff to still put enough pressure on in that way. But that's really it. If they run Dawnblade, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and I had thought about that earlier. It kind of makes me wish there was a tier between Guess I'll Just Die and In Shambles, because Dorinthia can be played in 2 different ways, at least. But I think for the most part, people have been sticking to Dawnblade as of late, so I want to say Guess I'll Just Die.
Guess I'll Just Die is where I would have to land her right now. Until we really see what else comes out in Outsiders, to really say, like, oh, maybe, like, Katsu's not going to be that meta-heavy right now, then it's not really going to be that big of a deal. But, like, if he comes out swinging this meta, everyone's going to start moving up to Guess I'll Just Die and In Shambles.
Oh, look at these warriors up here.
Poor warriors.
Alright, how about Miss Dromai?
Miss Dragon Mommy herself. Alright, so Dromai, our Draconic Illusionist hero. Whenever you pitch a red card, create an Ash token. And if you played a red card this turn, dragons you control have go again while attacking.
Doesn't seem like you do anything after that.
It seems like you could literally just start running attack actions at that point and hope for the best.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I hope you have quite a few. Hopefully you're not running 20 plus dragons in your deck.
Yeah, the dragon heavy ones are just done for. Honestly, the red hot version is going to be a lot better into Katsu at that point.
Yeah, so this is another build dependent one. But I do think the dragons are probably the most common. I think you'd agree with that.
Yeah, we definitely have to look at our local meta more than anything for ourselves. And everyone in our local meta, besides one person, I think just always plays just full dragons. And that's what you're going to see out there a lot right now. People are running a red line Dromai that we're seeing. But the red line Dromai is still just red line dragons Dromai.
Right.
Which we haven't seen play of it yet, but it is going to start popping up around our area. So it's something we have to look out for. But overall, it just shuts her down. If she can't make Ash and those dragons don't go again, she's not doing anything.
So I think it's fairly safe to say we'll say, Guess I'll Just Die. But
Guess I'll Just Die.
There is always Iris Dromai.
Iris Dromai is the shit.
She doesn't care about that text at all.
Nope, she just goes right back to don't even care. All you have to do is take out Sand Cover. That's it.
That is the only other conditional hero that's going to be in Don't Even Care. All right, let's talk about everybody's favorite hero.
Yeah, great.
Rising Rebellion.
I hate Fly because it's the easiest thing to give to a new player.
Yep.
It really is, and some of them just love it so much that that's what they stick with, and I hate it. I just want to play my control deck. That's all I want to do, and I can't with this around.
Yeah. So, alright, so Phi, Rising Rebellion. He's our Draconic Ninja hero. You may start the game with a Phoenix Flame in your graveyard, which obviously not affected by this, just like Dash. But once per turn instant, for 3 resources, return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand, and this ability costs 1 less for each Draconic Chain Link you control. So it's usually free.
Typically. At the very least they pay 1. But one of the bigger things I was actually thinking about today with Phi is that what they'll start to do late game when they have more than one Phoenix Flame in the graveyard, they'll pull that and then throw an E-Strike with Go Again. They'll use that to banish for Art of War. And I was like, just thinking like, oh, wow, that's like pretty substantial for him late game. Early game, it's not the biggest deal, but once they get to that late game second cycle kind of game, if they ever get to that point with Phi, because it doesn't typically go that late for them.
Right. And sometimes they can even pitch it too.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be that one extra pitch they need to throw off whatever finisher that they have in their hand.
Yeah. Katsu might be turn the corner against Phi. Maybe.
He might finally be not the secondary choice for Ninja.
Yeah, and we know Phi doesn't like to block, so...
But at that point, when you know that line's coming, you're going to throw... You could throw your whole hand just to get rid of it for that turn,
definitely.
But still, if you're saving everything for that last attack, he's still gonna leak in what 12 damage roughly.
Yeah, I think we worked it out to around 12 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, and eating 12 damage just to block on the last thing will never feel good in any matchup.
And someone had brought this up earlier. That's if they even throw it.
Yeah,
What if they just
bait
play the
you.
long con?
Play the long
Get
con.
the
Don't
12
even
in.
have it. They have every other piece except for Dishonor, and then they just go pass turn.
No, I think that's a huge like tempo misstep at that point because you're gonna want them to throw their whole hand at you. But if you don't have it, then it's an easy way to leak in 12 damage. You know, you draw up to full and just block them out again. Keep going at
but
it.
we have to see what the other cards do, because if the other card does it, if the other card ends up buffing Dishonor as well,
I didn't
like
think about that.
because if the other cards start buffing a Dishonor and making it stronger and stronger, you're gonna have to block those too, which is where the fridge starts to come into play. Like you're gonna have to throw your equipment in front of it.
Yeah, which we know Fi doesn't like to do that either.
Absolutely not.
Let's move on to the Ice Queen.
Let's talk about the Michael Hamilton special herself. She's an elemental wizard hero. She has the essence of ice, so she can have ice cards in her deck. If it's not your turn, you may play blue non-attack action cards from your arsenal as though they were an instant. And whenever you play an ice card during an opponent's turn, create a frostbite token under their control. If for some reason she lets you get this whole combo off and she takes that hit, she's done.
Yeah.
She's cooked. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, she might be able to play some kind of game with other cards that do frostbites, like Arctic Incarceration or something like that. Maybe some discard effects.
Mm-hmm.
But
that'll only be on your
playing
turn.
on her turn. I mean, I
Unless
guess
she's
they still have Wounded Bulls and Scar for Scar.
Yeah, but then she just turns into a generic attack and hope that she has it and just throw the arcane on her turn.
Yeah.
That's not the game plan that she wants at all. She wants to completely shut down your turns, which in the Katsu matchup, like she's gonna shut you down on chain like 1 or 2.
Oh yeah.
Throw enough to like hurt you where you're like, you know what, I have to block some of this, or she does some sort of effect where you have to negate something, and if you don't, your turn's just shut down otherwise. But if somehow you get it off on an Icelander, she's done.
Right.
That's it.
Which honestly probably isn't going to happen between the frostbites, the discard effects that are instant speed. Like, it probably won't happen realistically. But if it does, I guess I'll just die.
Yeah, absolutely. The only saving grace that she'll have is that if she has Striders ready to go, and the thing that she had in Arsenal wasn't enough and you're able to keep going, she's going to pop Striders and try to stop you afterwards as well.
Yeah, true.
To throw Striders. So imagine if you get this combo off turn 2 or 3, and she has to pop Striders, even then she's done. Because just being able to throw Arsenal, it's not the best.
And I mean, I think we worked it out earlier. If you're playing some really ideal hands, some really ideal lines, you probably got at least 1 or 2 resources floating, which is probably going to be like a Razor Reflex, but it could always be a Frostbite. It could be the discard effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are ways to play against it.
Yeah, I mean, eating 5 Arcane and just paying the 2 is a lot easier than trying to negate some of that damage when you know that you can shut her down if you hit.
100%. All right, let's
Guess
talk
I'll
about
just die
Combo
for her.
Boy.
Combo Boy.
Combo Boy Kano.
Combo. Oh.
All right, so Kano, Dracai of Aether. His ability is instant, 3 resources. Look at the top card of your deck. If it's a non-attack action card, you may banish it. If you do, you may play it this turn as though it were an instant. His wizardly instant ability.
You mean the only thing he relies on the entire time?
Snapbacks, man.
Snapbacks. Yeah, this guy, it's the same thing with Icelander. Their biggest thing is disrupting you on your turn, and it's all from their own abilities. If they can't do that, they got nothing.
Yeah, I can't see Kano coming out with a win if he gets hit by this.
Oh, absolutely not. Because Icelander still has like some utility within herself, just within like her deck builds and stuff like that. Kano relies 100% on his own ability to be able to kill you.
Yeah, Even most of his deck being blues, like if you get hit, you're gonna lack the oomph to really close out the game.
Mm-hmm.
You really
And
need
only
that
being
combo potential.
And only being at 30 life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're not already dead from the,
Oh,
from the chain itself.
Let me take half of my life first, and then potentially try to pop off at some point within that chain. And Kano's going to go, I'm not going to take it. I'm at 40, whatever.
I guess you just take 12, and if they have it, you just try to win.
Yeah, that's all you really can do. Or you just block it and hope for later, but it can come back up. It's not like it's a one-time combo.
Alright, Kano.
Yeah.
Guess you'll just die.
Guess you'll just die.
Alright, who's next? Oh,
the mirror.
the mirror match. So that's where the art comes from.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only way you're ever going to see it happen to him is in the mirror. Alright, so Katsu the Wanderer. Basic ninja hero, nothing special with him. Once per turn effect, when an attack action card you control hits, you may discard a card with cost 0. If you do, search your deck for a card with combo, banish it face up, then shuffle your deck. You may play it this turn. I mean, it's his whole kit and caboodle. If he can't just tutor cards up from hitting, what's he got?
Yeah. He's not like Fi, you can't just combo with your whole deck, so at that point you gotta rely on your draws, I guess, but how are you gonna pull it out against a Katsu that can still combo you?
Yeah, Katsu just relies on combo, and if he looks at his hand, sees 200 wins, and wants to go for a whelming, he can't do that if he just doesn't have it in his hand. What are you gonna do? Throw 200 wins, call it a day? Absolutely not.
Throw some Kodachis in there.
Yeah, well, obviously Kodachi. So it's Kodachi, throw the attack, hope for a mask momentum trigger, and then pop off.
Oh man, that's rough. Well, I
But
mean,
you have to think.
that's if you're running this momentum. Won't you be running links, I guess?
If you're running that combo, you'd have to be running links, you know?
I guess it depends on the build.
Because I think Mirror, they always go momentum because neither of them typically block.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I don't know if you'd really be obviously, if you can pull off the combo, you can pull off the combo.
Yeah.
But typically in the Ninja Mirror, you run mask because neither of you are blocking. There's no reason to.
That makes sense.
You're just hurting yourself to block.
Yeah, I mean, either way he can pull it off because his own ability is the tutor. It's not like Fi trying to find pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So
Yeah.
Katsu.
Katsu, if he gets hit with it, he's not out. He's not completely destroyed, but he's hurting. He's got to be.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in shambles.
Absolutely in shambles.
Katsu in shambles, and also at the same time, having a great day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, let's talk about the best one.
Oh no.
Sorry, Mansan and every other Leviathan stan out there. So, Leviathan Shadowborn Abomination. If a card with 6 or more power has been put into your banish zone this turn, cards you own lose blood debt during the end phase. So, what do you do when you can't get rid of your blood debt, Nick?
Shame, you die. Just shame.
That sounds about right. I mean, there's not really much to talk about. You're just gonna slowly start dying, if not immediately die.
Yeah, it would definitely be like a second cycle thing with him for this matchup. Just to hope that she's already gonna just immediately just fall over and die.
Right. Yeah, an extension of the combo, if you will.
Yeah, because if you hit Leviathan early with it, she's just not gonna go for that game plan of banishing things. You know,
Right.
like putting those things into banish. She's not gonna throw the cards that require her to banish because then she just won't build up blood debt.
Yeah, so maybe in that meta it might be better for you to actually kind of come off the blood debt plan just a little bit, just in case.
Yeah.
Or have something in your sideboard you can swap in to kind of even out the ratios.
Mm-hmm.
She'll probably just die.
Yeah, absolutely. Because most people are just gonna. It's an aggro matchup. That's what you have to be at. So you have to race the whole time. And if you're holding yourself back, guessing if this Katsu's running the combo, you're just hurting yourself. So she has to throw as much as possible in the early game.
Definitely.
Yeah, guess I'll just die.
Lexi
Livewire.
Limewire?
Livewire.
What year is this?
That's the bootleg. It's the one that messes up your computer.
Every time.
So Lexi Livewire, Elemental Ranger Hero. Essence of Ice and Lightning, so she can play Ice and Lightning cards in her deck. Once per turn action, turn a face-down card in your arsenal face up. If it's a Lightning card, your next attack this turn gets go again. If it's an Ice card, create a Frostbite token under the target hero's control. Go again. So, for her, initially I was thinking it's not that big of a deal. Like, it sucks that, like, they won't get the buff for whether it's Lightning or Ice. But, you know, I'm not sure past that, like, what's the biggest effect for her?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely feels like meh at first. But then you start to factor in things like New Horizons, that it might affect her overall game plan.
Yeah, it wasn't something I was actually factoring in at first. Just because I don't play Ranger at all, so it's not like the biggest, like, it's not like the first thought in my head was her equipment. But once you brought that up a little bit earlier, I was like, oh wow, no, that actually kind of really does mess her up, because then she can't have the second card in Arsenal at all unless she had it from an effect of another card.
Right. And I know a lot of Lexi players right now are relying on that Frostbite token, that flip, just to get some tempo and maintain it throughout the game. Then maybe throw an Arctic Incarceration. It's pretty hard to get over the hill once she starts frostbiting you.
Yeah, or even when they just go full lightning, it's what they need. A lot of them do not have innate go again, so you really need to try pumping them up. It helps when you have an endless arrow. You can flip over a lightning card, play the endless arrow, has go again already. Those kind of combos just don't go off for her, and it kind of sucks. So yeah, this definitely messes her up a lot more than I initially thought. So In Shambles is honestly where we have to go with her.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe a low In Shambles.
Yeah, right in between is where she would actually end up.
All right. The Oldhim.
Old man himself.
Oldhim, grandfather of eternity. The boogeyman of the format right now, in my opinion. So Essence of Earth and Ice. Once per turn defense reaction for 3 resources. If an Earth card is pitched this way, prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to Oldhim this turn. If an Ice card is pitched this way, the attacking hero puts a card from their hand on the top of their deck. So, I mean, he's still a Guardian, right?
Still a Guardian. Still can run those Earth and Ice cards. But based on my matchup the other day with him, in the matchup that I was running, he heavily relied on the Earth React.
Right.
And in specifically the aggro matchups, he heavily relies on that Ice matchup, on the Ice React.
Ice React
every single time.
Is horrendous.
It makes him immediately stop and go, oh, hold on. So for Oldhim, I don't ever see it really getting off on him. That's the biggest thing for him. I don't see it happening. He's gonna make you put one of those cards back on top of your deck. You're not gonna be able to get the full combo off.
I guess you could. I mean, you could definitely play into the full combo by, say, putting the Bond of Ancestry, putting that in your arsenal, so that way you have that combo to play off, and then you can get the Dishonor off of that. And assuming you have 1 card left in hand during that, you know. You might have to top that, but that means you're going to lose out on like your Razor Reflex, stuff like that, and Oldhim's just not going to let you through.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll crown on you. He'll prevent the 2 damage. So he can prevent 3 with 4 resources just off of that. No cards from hand even in front of it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think the old man cares too much.
Not really. If somehow you magically got this off on this guy, like the turn that you're throwing it, he doesn't have an Earth or Ice card in his hand.
Yeah. All right. Chokeslam?
Whatever.
Spinal
He'll
Crush
just
out.
turn and go full aggro back into you, and his attacks are much taller than yours.
And that's the thing about the tanky Oldhim builds, too. It's not even like they're really losing out on a ton of attack reactions. Or attacks. Like, they run a lot of blues, sure, but they still come in for a lot. He can just flip on a dime. So, I guess meh.
Absolutely meh. But yeah, based on the blues, like if you just think Autumn's Touch, it's still a 3 for 5. That 5 is still going to come in and hit you for a lot more than your 2 Kodachis and 1 attack is going to do.
Yeah.
For what costs you 2 cards minimum. His 2 cards already did more than that. His value is a lot greater overall per turn, that it's not going to matter too much to him regardless. So yeah, meh is definitely the landing point for Oldhim.
How do we feel about Rhinar?
The big bad brute. So Rhinar, Reckless Rampage. Brute hero. Whenever you discard a card with 6 or more attack during your action phase, Intimidate. So just as a Rhinar player in Blitz, it'll hurt. It'll definitely hurt a lot, but at the same time, his attacks are tall enough, it's not going to stop him fully. It just gives you more options to block with overall against him.
Yeah, it makes it less painful when he comes in for, what is it? Alpha Rampage?
Yes, Alpha Rampage.
Alpha Rampage. And you have like 3 cards in your hand, or 1 card in your hand, and 3 Intimidated.
Yeah, which
like, oh.
all you're gonna get is the 1 Intimidate off of Alpha Rampage, which it has just built into the card. Other than that, you still have 3 cards in hand, and if they had even 1 Barraging Beatdown, you still have 2 cards to block. You're shutting down the Barraging Beatdown. You're still mitigating that damage. You're fine.
Yeah. I'd kind of say Rhinar's ability is kind of like a win more ability, like Bravo's, but it's slightly more impactful to his actual game plan.
Absolutely, because he relies on that every turn. Well, not even relies on it. He counts on it every turn, whereas Bravo really didn't care as much at all.
Right.
But really, at the end, in the Katsu matchup, Katsu's not really blocking much anyway. So it's not... The Intimidate really didn't matter anyway against Katsu. So in that matchup, it's definitely meh. It's it's not the biggest deal. Maybe you had a D-React in hand that the Intimidate would have hit, but at the same time, that's the only time you're blocking. That's the only thing you're blocking within your hand anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. He's still gonna bonk.
The bonker's gonna bonk. Now let's talk about your Rune boy.
We saved the best for last. It's not alphabetical.
Absolutely not.
So Viserai Runeblood, our generic Runeblade hero. Whenever you play a Runeblade card, if you have played another non-attack action card this turn, create a Rune Chant token. So I thought this wasn't too bad. But then you kind of point out some stuff that just no more Rune Chants is kind of impactful to your hybrid damage plan. You could still make some with Spellblade Strike, Spellblade Assault, Revel, all the goodies, but that incidental 1, 2, or 3 damage extra you're getting on a turn, that being gone is really going to hinder you.
Absolutely, especially with it being the arcane damage. And in Katsu, he might run 1 AB, and that 1 AB was for the Rune Chants,
Yeah, 100%.
If he can stop the Rune Chants, he doesn't even need to run AB anymore. He can just run regular armor in that slot.
Hey, Tide Flippers might feel real good in that matchup. You just AB until you blank them, and then you can pop them. And not feel bad about it.
The only thing that the only reason why he's going to run that 1 AB anymore is for Rosetta. But even then, Rosetta isn't long for this world if Briar can sneak in a big win soon.
Oh, sad days.
I'll be happy it's gone. I really don't care anymore. At first, it was an issue because no one ever wants to run 2 AB into a matchup. Just clocking up 2 slots where they have something that's much better in those slots.
Yeah, definitely.
But everyone's kind of learned to play around it a bit more. Since Viserai, it really isn't heavy into the meta right now. Our local meta a little bit more than usual, but the actual meta, he's not floating around as much. He's maybe 2% of the meta, roughly. Yeah. So overall, on this actual effect, it's good across the total game. If you go 10 rounds and you just don't have that arcane backing you, potential 30 damage you just lost.
Yeah,
overall,
it really adds up.
You don't really think about it turn by turn, because you just see that extra 3, you're like, oh, whatever. But when you do it as a whole game, if you just prevented that much damage by hitting this 1 card, kind of really hurts.
Also, thinking about it now, it also turns off a lot of stuff. It turns off your meet and greets for the most part, your consuming volitions, the things you're going to throw out, and then it's going to be accompanied by one rune chant. Well, not anymore. So
It really just turns them
they just take it.
It just turns them into a blank Briar. A really bad blank Briar.
Yeah.
It's what it is. She doesn't make rune chants that often. What, you're going to instead now just start pitching into your gloves every turn?
Yeah. She starts making them, I guess, toward the end of the game. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, I guess Grasp could be a saving grace for things like meet and greet and consuming volition, but that's really going to mess up the rest of your turn, to be honest, because that 2's going to add up.
Every single time. And God forbid you hit that red line, you're going to pitch 2 of the 4 cards in your hand just to make 1 rune chant.
It's so bad. Yeah, so in shambles, right?
In shambles. He's got to be.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I think overall, I'm very comfortable with where we placed everybody.
Yeah, it looks about right. Katsu players, maybe you can look at this and smile when you get into a matchup that's on the top row. Maybe not so much Icelander, but the other ones.
And anything below that, they're not going to care, honestly.
No. I just can't wait for you to get paired up against a Katsu when you're playing Dash.
I can't wait. Great. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a special sleeve made that says don't even care.
right next to Threatening Lethal.
Right next to Threatening Lethal.
That's on the other side, actually.
No, I'll just switch out all of my sleeves to from Threatening Lethal to Don't Even Care, just for that matchup.
Have 2 decks just for the BM. So you put out Threatening Lethal, they say, I'm playing Katsu, and you said, oh, hold on, I got the wrong deck. And you just...
Like, what? We're round 6. It's the same deck, I promise.
Do you have anything else to add to it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we can definitely revisit once we see the rest of the combo line and have a full view of what the whole turn's going to look like for them. But other than that, I don't really think I have much more.
Yeah, solid list, I think.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what people's input is in the comments. Make sure you comment down below what your thoughts are, and if you disagree or agree heavily with anything.
Definitely, let us know what you think. But until next time, thanks for being part of this, Nick.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to be here, and I can't wait to do it again.
Hell yeah. So yeah, until next time, guys, stay safe, keep playing great games. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
See ya!